Warm welcome back to the... Wait for it, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Forensic Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. I was thinking about a cool new channel intro, so I got the drum kit. Anyway, that's not going to work. Today's video, we are looking at a new product to me, which is the Meguiar's Advanced Si02 Technology Hybrid Ceramic Tyre Shine, long-lasting high gloss, water-resistant durability. Interested in those main product claims, durable shine. So we featured the Meguiar's Endurance in another video, and it's still sitting there from being freshly applied, and we're rolling straight onto this one. This is a difference. So this is a modern water-based Si02 formula. We're going to get it on that tyre in a second. Just bear with me before we get it on the tyre. Now this product, I couldn't find it on Halfords, which is unusual. It might be because they've got other dressings and it's commercial things, or it may be on Halfords and I just couldn't find it. So the price I've got, looks like it costs around £18, but maybe 18 to £20. And that £18 was coming from Demon Tweaks. But then there was other places selling it for 23, maybe even all the way up to 25. That may be including delivery. But I think roughly about 18 to £20 seems to be what you should be paying for this product. For 437ml. So their endurance gel is cheaper at 473ml. The Auto Glim dressing is cheaper, you know, at £12.49. The Turtle Wax is really cheap compared to those, £7.49 for 500ml. The Geon, £19 for 500ml, similar price. The Car Pro Pearl, £11.99 for 500ml, but dilutable, so cheaper. And then, of course, big bulk offerings, Auto Smart High Style, 42 quid. Bonnyman's Black Magic, 45 quid, both for 5 litres. So you can, I've given you bulk prices, I've given you other Halford stuff. You get the idea. Is £18, you know, for this expensive? It just depends. You never really get like the best price when you buy a retail product in this size offering. So I give you the full smorgasbord and you can decide whether you want to go cheap or you want to go even more expensive. I'm sure there's more on the market. It's not cheap, is it? That's the bottom line. But is it better than their endurance gel? So first of all, if you want to use this water-based dressing, you clean off your tyre, you know, like it says in the instructions. So we've had a tyre that's been cleaned and dried, but it's a pretty grotty tyre that still shows lots of signs of blooming. And we showed how good the endurance gel was at just eating up all that blooming and giving you a really good finish. Can this do the same? Well, John, you should prep the tyre more. I've scrubbed the hell out of this. It's just an ancient tyre. It's not filthy, but it's just a good tyre to demo this product on. Now, with this product, you've got an advantage that it offers variable shine. So you've got 2 application methods. One is to spray it all over the surface of the tyre and leave it, okay, which is really interesting. The other is to spray it all over the surface of the tyre and level it with an applicator. And I've got this kind of clean side here that I could level with. So let's just do that. And initially, it's going to create one of the reasons against using these types of products, which is overspray. So the advantage with the Meguiar's, you put it on an applicator and you target your tyre and you put it on the tyre. This, you've got to contend with overspray. So often you can find yourself needing to wipe the rim to get this Si02 material off it, or that material can dry on the edge of the rim. And then you can see it and stuff like that. So that's a detailing faux pas. Get it on there. Right, so it's going to come out quite a lot here. This is why I'm worried. Let's just do it. Now look at that. So it's quite a rich, we're putting a lot of dressing on because that's just how it seems to want to go. You could obviously put less. Now, one cool thing, when you put on loads of tyre dressing like this and it's all wet, it floods and soaks into all of the area on the tyre, and there's way too much dressing on there, isn't there? But sometimes when I put on something like Car Pro Pearl or Geon Tyre Express, I get a similar thing. I get this creamy liquid, and what I notice with those products is I just leave it and the creaminess goes away and it soaks into the tyre and it gives you maximum shine. So you could go and do this, maybe put a little bit less on and leave it. But if you don't, then you could take a microfiber cloth and mop it up, or you could take an applicator and just kind of level it down. So I'll level half of it down and leave the other half to just sit there. That seems like a good compromise to me. So let's just use the clean side with it, so we're not cross-contaminating. And yeah, you just work that into the tyre. It's quite wet, I'm noticing, so that's just leveled it and knocked it down. So we'll probably have more shine here and less shine here. How long can it take for these to just go back to like no creaminess? I found with some of the ones I've used before about an hour. So if you wanted them dressed and ready to go, you might have to wipe that with a little bit of a microfiber towel, but then you're going to remove even more material. Okay, we'll have to probably come back once that's dried to show you the final finish, which is going to be really important. Now, with water-based films that dry and form like a film of material, you tend to have less issues with sling. But obviously, if you drive this car with all this wet material on it, it's going to sling. So you must follow the instructions, let this dry off and make sure all of these bits of these edges here aren't all full of liquid, or you could still possibly get sling with this particular product. Now, with water-based dressings, one of the advantages, they dry to a dry film, so there is that less sort of slimy silicone on them than you get with the Meguiar's Endurance. So what you tend to get with an Si02 dressing is like what I've got here, and this is G on Tyre Express. It's not freshly dressed. It was dressed maybe a couple of washes ago, and then you get, you know, like a film on the tyre, which, well, there's dirt on there, but it's not slimy dirt, and you haven't got to like scrape it all off in subsequent washes, but you get that look, and it seems to maintain that look a little bit better. Don't touch it with your fingers because you get greasy marks on it. So we'll let this dry off, guys, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the difference in finish when we're at that stage. Guys, we're back, and I've just given this, I've been at the garage for a couple of hours, and the area where we just dumped it on is very shiny still. Let's just see if you can get that in focus. And very wet. It's got a wetter look to it. You can probably just about see it on camera. Over on this side, it's still kind of shiny, but it's leveled down. For sure, I put way too much product on that than you probably would if you were sort of just using it, because it's literally the first time I've ever squirted it out, so you're getting used to that squirt, but it's still darkened off, you know, and the whiteness is gone, but you would use less than I did. But just that little wipe and level with that sponge just seems to give you that kind of finish that you would want. I would say for an Si02 dressing, this does have a good level of shine. It feels very rich, very concentrated, almost like you could actually knock this down a little bit with water and get a sort of thinner film going on the car, which you can probably do, and I do, but I can't do it in this review because it doesn't say that you can do that on the instructions, but you've got that option. This product behaves like an Si02 dressing, and that's kind of what I use. I don't think it's any better or any worse than Carpro Pearl or Gion. I think it might be a bit richer as it comes out the bottle because of what I said. There's a little bit more shine going on. But this, the way you use this and you put it on and you get all that white creaminess is exactly what I do with my current dressings, whether it's Pearl or Gion. I wet it all out and I don't worry about the creaminess, and I just leave it, and I tend to leave it overnight. And then you get a really good application and you get a kind of a rich finish. And yeah, the Meguiar's how's it called? Hybrid ceramic tyre shine is good, and it's probably what I'd use over the Meguiar's Endurance. You don't get your hands on it as much. You don't get all that slimy thing with it as much, although there's a little bit of sort of thing with it, but it's not like that silicone. It also, we talked about how the Meguiar's Endurance just got rid of the blooming on the tyre. This did a similar thing, and it's water-based. Maybe not quite as well as the Endurance, because I can still see just some little bits of browning. The Endurance just destroyed all that, but still, you wouldn't be worried looking at this grotty old tyre and thinking, oh, it's got all blooming. It's masked it all up and given you a good finish. So, yeah, I'm happy with it. With tyre dressings, it's all about really the finish you want. for me, because there are some dressings out there that sort of claim like long durability, and they'll bond. Remember that blue Optimum one that like dried on the tyre? That lasts on the tyre for years. But the problem with any tyre dressing, it doesn't matter how long it lasts, brake dust gets into that rubber, and the only way you get a fresh dress look is to redress it. So I've said that many times on the channel, no matter what you use, you only get a fresh rubber redress look when you clean the tyres, scrub them, and redress. So typically I'll put something down, and then after 2 or 3 washes I'll be scrubbing and redressing. And for me it's about doing that in a really quick way. So water-based does that, and for me it's about giving me a finish which isn't too high gloss. I just like a darkening effect, and I find Si02 products claim that. Yeah, I don't want it to wash off the tyre instantly, and I just want it to look half decent, and I'm happy with that. There we go. The one unknown, and we will do a video on this, I'll probably stick it on the Unplugged channel, is if I take this tyre outside, leave it on the wall for like a couple of weeks, just so that whatever material there, you know, dries off completely, does all its thing, then wash it a few times and compare how the two sides look. My guess, this is interesting, is that this will probably last longer because that water-based film will be a bit more durable than that silicone film. But my guess is once it's been outside for a week before I wash it, that the endurance will probably look shinier when it's been rained on and weathered on. Possibly. Don't know. There we go, guys. So that's my thoughts on Meguiar's hybrid tyre shine. It is a rich, strong, modern formulation which seems to give you a little bit of flexibility around your finish. What don't I like about it? Not much, but perhaps you could say less shine, perhaps on application, some people might like. So I'm going to explore possibly just watering it down a little bit so it's a thinner cream and even less gloss, which I can do off-piste, but I can't do in the review. So there we go, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when